is Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and you are on BackstageAxxess.com, where the real show begins.
We the people have taken over. We the people are...
Hey, Gus Gressinger here with BackstageAxxess.com, and today we would like to welcome our friend Ron Thal, or otherwise known as in rock circles known as Bumblefoot, in talking to us today. So much to talk about with the new CD, Hot Sauce's guitar cases, your side projects, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the new disc. On Tuesday, you'll be releasing your 10th studio effort, Little Brother is Watching. Listening to the CD, I love the vocals on it. I mean, obviously you're known as a guitar player, but you know, I'm actually digging the vocals, and a couple of the songs, Higher I love, and I don't know, I'm really digging the vocals. I don't know if you're trying to sing a different way, or it seems a little bit more heartfelt. I mean, if you want to talk about it.
Sure, man. First, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's nice to be chatting with you again.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah. So this one, yeah, I think a lot of people really thought that they didn't know that I sing. Like, they didn't know that I'm a singer and a songwriter and a guitar player, and I'm not just this, like, hired guitar player guy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's not me. Like, I've always been someone who, it's just living a very versatile musical fucking life, doing everything, from the producing, the engineering, that's all part of who I am and what I do. And if I'm going to make an album, I'm going to give everything that I do, and that's not just guitar-wise. It's going to be the vocals, the songwriting, the production ideas, the cello, everything. So yeah, vocally, I've been singing my whole life, and every band I've been in, I've sung as well as played. And I think, if anything, with this album, in a weird way, I wasn't trying as hard, and because of that, it just came out better.
It came out natural, more, yeah.
Yeah, like, I think I might have felt like I had something to prove, or like, it needs more angst, and this album was just kind of, fuck it. You know what, if it sounds mellow, if it sounds soft, if it sounds, whatever it sounds like, let it just be the real thing, and just let it be honest and unapologetic. This is how I sing. I have a clean voice, and this is what is natural for me, and I think it actually came out best.
And you did everything on this record, including playing both bass and guitar and rhythm and lead, but you did get Dennis Leaflang to play drums on. And do you have a relationship with Dennis? And how did you choose Dennis to play on your record?
Me and Dennis go back years. He's from Holland.
Okay.
And he was in a lot of bands as a teenager that went on to become pretty serious bands. Within Temptation.
Okay.
Epica. He was in a band called Suncaged, which was a progressive metal band in the late 90s, early 2000s, and that's when I met him. And we started just jamming when we'd see each other, hanging out and stuff. And then what happened was I was doing a tour in 2002, was it? Yeah, 2002. And the drummer suddenly, in the third show, he was a great drummer and everything was cool, and we were all having a blast. And the drummer just quit. His exact words were, "I can't fight my demons anymore. I'm quitting music forever." And I was like, "Well, can you wait until..."
Yeah, nice timing.
After the show, or after the tour? And he's like, "No," and he finished the show, but at that point I called up Dennis and I was like, "Dude, are you around by chance?" And he had one show left with his band to play, and then he flew down and learned the rest of the songs on that flight from Germany to France, and finished the rest of the tour, and we've been playing together ever since. He moved to New York about 10 years ago, and so he's been on all my albums and been my drummer for the last dozen years.
Cool, and obviously you produced the record as well. Is that a little extra pressure on that you're doing it and it's got to be like, obviously you're the boss, or is it kind of, do you feel a lot more relaxation when you're in control of everything?
It's not even like it's a control thing or a boss thing. It's more of just, I have, this many things to offer, and I want to offer them all. So I want to, if I'm a producer, I want to produce as well and do that. For me, if it's going to say Bumblefoot on the album, then it should have everything that I do, not just a small piece of it.
Gotcha.
So, but when I work with other people, like I'm sure we'll talk about some of the Anarchy or the stuff with DMC and Generation Kill or anything else, any other collaborations or whatever it is, then I'm happy to just, do that one thing that makes me the part of the entire machine that's needed. With Guns, I was a guitar player that did some backing vocals. With Lita Ford, the same thing. With who else? I mean, a million guest guitar solos that are laid on albums that I'm just playing a guitar solo. For people I've produced, I could be playing nothing and just sitting back and helping them be their best and get the most out of them and just make the best version of their music and the best sound and the best everything that they have. And I'm invisible in that process. And it's trying to make it all about them. It's always different. It depends on what the goal is, who you're working with, what the relationship is, and everyone just does their best with that.
Your guitar work is incredible on this record. We were talking about your vocals, but Don't Know Who to Pray To Anymore. Really love that track. Higher as well. And Higher actually has a lot of crunchy guitar riffs, but it's definitely, besides that, it has a little, it's a really good representation of the album. I think that song personally, because it has a little bit of everything like the rest of the record does. In creation of this record, how do you write a song? Do you start with a riff? Do you start with a melody? Does each song have its own approach? How do you usually how does the creative process work for you?
It's always different. It's sort of like you have all these different roads that lead to the same place, and you can start on any of those roads. Like it could be a drum groove. It could be the title of the song. It could be a melody. It could be a guitar riff. It could be just a feeling. It could be anything that leads to it. So it's always different. It's never exactly the same way that song comes together. You'll have the same pieces that all come together, but you might put them all there in a different order. So it's always different.
And Women Rule the World. There's a very odd track, very different tempos to it, and very variations to it, which obviously you're known for because obviously you take a lot of different elements and add it as your own. How long does the process, and we talked about you just said everything comes together differently for every track, but when you say, okay, I want to write a record or do something or put together this, how long does the whole process take?
Probably it always ends up being the same. It ends up taking 9 months exactly from when the first drum is hit with the record button hit to having the CD in my hands. It's always 9 months. And the other weird thing about it that I cannot figure out is that during those 9 months, I always gain exactly 8 pounds. And it doesn't matter. I mean, when people say, well, dude, you just got to eat less. No, it's not that. It doesn't matter how I eat or not eat or exercise or not exercise or anything I do, no matter what, when I do that album, after those 9 months, I will be 8 pounds heavier. And then the real the album is done, the 8 pounds just disappear. Like, I just picked up the album, like a few days ago, and I'm already 4 pounds down. And by next week, those 8 pounds, the other 4 pounds are going to be gone. It makes no sense. It's like I'm carrying an invisible baby. It makes no sense. And I'm telling you, this happens every single album I do, and I cannot figure it out. But I carry some invisible thing that grows to be 8 pounds over the course of 9 months along with this album, and then when the album is done, that thing is birthed and I lose my baby weight in a week. And it makes no sense. But it happens every single album I do. And this has been going on for, ever. This is not just a one-time thing. Like, this is something that after a certain point you notice, like, what the hell is that?
The higher beings are speaking to you. That is the oddest thing I think I've ever heard.
Yeah. It makes no sense, and there's no explanation for it. I cannot figure it out. The only thing I can think of it is that, sitting on my ass so much more at the studio, playing, recording and mixing and doing everything. Could be that. But, I make a point of every hour to run around the room until my heart is pounding and sitting back down or getting home and exercise or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It always ends up the same way. And the thing is, if it was fat, it wouldn't come off in a week.
Right. It's like I said, it's some inner spiritual something that just gets released from your body once the 9 months of stress of working on an album, if you call it stress or whatever it is, and it's released somehow. I don't know. Like I said, it's very odd. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. And I probably never will. And the tough thing is when I'm producing albums, and if the same thing happens, and it does. So if I'm working on an album and I'm producing 2 other albums, I start getting really fat. That's like 24 pounds I'm up.
Wow.
And that actually happened at one point. Like I was working literally 140 hours a week. Like I would do 40-hour blocks at the studio where I would record each band for 10 hours at my studio. I was working on 12 albums at once, and I was 100 pounds heavier than I am right now.
Wow.
That was back in like 2003 or something like that.
Wow.
And that's when I was like, all right, I need to slow the fuck down. This is not good.
Actually, speaking about moving around and touring, we'll get into that. But last year, actually, you came through our neck of the woods with a cool package with Yngwie Malmsteen and Gary Hoey. That's the package we got. We knew Uli John Roth, I think, was on it for a little bit, but he didn't come to where we were living. So it was just.
He didn't make it onto any of the shows.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it was just you guys. That was the Guitar Gods show. Is there going to be another kind of cool package you're going to be involved with this summer, maybe in playing the new tunes?
I don't know. I definitely want to get out and play for this album. I want to work the album a little bit first. I want people to know the music a bit before I head out. So I'm going to spend a little extra time on that before even booking a tour. But yeah, I want to get out and do something. I'm going to be doing a guitar festival tour in October and November in France.
Okay.
It's a bit out of the way from here, but
yeah, that's down the line. What about the summer? Anything? Are you just still going to just do like press, really push this album going into the summer, or are you hoping to add some dates?
I would love to. If the album got done a little quicker and I got this whole process, like everything, a little quicker, a few months sooner, then maybe I would have been able to start booking some festival shows or summer tours, something like that. But at this point, I'm just going to keep one-offing it and just doing random stuff until it's time to really get out and do a solid tour. So I've been doing that, and it's been really cool. I just got back from Thailand, where I did a bunch of shows out there.
Oh, is that why you probably weren't at NAMM this year? I didn't see you at NAMM.
Yeah, I had to skip NAMM Rehearsal-wise, I did Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and then it would have been NAMM, and then I would have been doing this radio festival in Vegas, and then shooting the music video for Little Brother, and then running out to Thailand. There wouldn't have been enough downtime to get everything ready for the album, so I just skipped NAMM. But the Thailand thing was great. Headlined Bike Week out there, like a little Sturgis.
Okay.
It happens in Pattaya. And so I play the pre-party in both nights, and it's all going towards a children's charity called Jester's Care for Kids. And all three shows we raised $163,000 for kids.
Awesome.
It's going to help them putting clothes on their back, their education, food in their bellies, everything.
And you're obviously very involved with different charities and whatnot. And I'm going to get to a question down the line about how purchasing one of your products helps breast cancer, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Since we're talking about some of the projects and obviously the Guitar Gods that came through last year, you're also involved with another project called Art of Anarchy, which got some news in early got some news, not with you, but in January regarding Scott Weiland, who seems to find himself constantly one way or another in the news. But a lot of people, when they heard this, they were, really a lot of positive, like everybody was excited about it, and then Scott kind of nixed it right off the bat and said he's not involved with this project, and it was just kind of like a one-off fly-by-night thing, and I wanted you to actually comment about it.
I don't want to say too much because I'm not sure where all that is going to lead, that turn of events, but what I can tell you is that Art of Anarchy, we started it in 2011. Started with John and Vince, the two brothers that played guitar and drums, and they wanted to make their dream album. They wanted to do the supergroup album, and they had started a music company. This is what they wanted to be their first release and everything. So brought them into the studio, and
the Vada brothers.
Yeah, and I laid down my guitar parts along with theirs, and just took care of all the mixing and everything you hear. And John Moyer came in, nailed the bass, kicked ass, and then Scott signed on to do the whole album, and he did. He wrote everything. He recorded it on his own and sent it all to me. Then I did the final mixing and mastering and everything, and we shot 2 videos, and everything should be coming out around May.
So you don't want to talk about Scott's either involvement or non-involvement? You can't talk about that. Is that what you're saying?
I'd rather just focus on the definite and the good, which is the album is going to come out.
Okay.
It's looking like May, and ultimately it was, it's about that. It's about the music. We made a really cool album together, and as far as anything that happens with that and with who, that will develop organically. However the pieces fall, I guess you could say.
Okay. I won't, delve into more of that, but I think, fans wanted to kind of know, I think, like I said, generate some buzz in January about it. So I'm glad that you kind of at least let us know what's going to happen regarding the disc, and then we'll see what happens after that.
We'll do like the first single and the video to it, and then the full album.
Okay. A lot of stuff you're involved in, and when I got the bio and I'm reading it, and I'm like, I don't know how you find time to do all this stuff, and then run to Thailand, obviously, you just, like you were talking about, but you got involved with guitar case designing. I want you to actually talk about how that's going and how you got involved with it.
So it's a good friend of mine, a former wrestler named Brimstone, who started a comic book company called Hound Comics, and he started working with this backpack company called East Sport, and they were making some Hound Comics characters making some guitar cases. Started working on designs and just everything that I thought was important for a guitar case. Everything I wanted a case to have to make life easier. From wheels to deeper pockets to everything, just to make life easier when you're lugging around your guitar. So yeah, we did that.
And that's, you can, and fans out there can purchase that right through Eastport.
Yeah, you can go to eastport.com, or you can even go to bumblefoot.com, and you can find links to it there.
Right.
So we got that. We got the hot sauce.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into the hot sauce. Hold on, we're gonna get to that. I want to talk about jam play, because you're a student, or sorry, you like really getting involved with teaching, and like I said, you give your time to others, and with the charity work that you do, and you also like to give your expertise and your guitar techniques to others by teaching them, and you're involved with this thing called Jam Play. So I wanted to have you talk about that as well.
Yeah, Jam Play is wonderful. It's a subscription where there's everyone from me, Billy Shan, all kinds of people that have done all these lessons, and you pay a monthly subscription and you have access to everything. And it's fantastic. It's well filmed. It's really good. It's jamplay.com. So I did about 20 lessons on there, plus I took 4 of my songs and broke them down to every little detail on how to play them. The songs like Guitars Suck, Guitars Still Suck, Spaghetti, what else? Yeah, that sounds... So it's definitely something to check out.
And then when we were talking about how you got involved with your friend who does comic books, I'm hearing there's possibly a Bumblefoot comic book series forthcoming.
I would like to do that. I think it would go well with this new album. Something about going to a planet where women rule the world. Sleepwalking, about undead people. Each song could lead to a good little episode of this comic book, or just at least a kind of side theme. So yeah, that's something I want to get into, because these guys are doing it. Hound Comics guys, DMC has a really good comic book, and so you know about that too, right? The Generation Kill DMC collaboration.
Yep, I'm reading about that. If you want to get into that, you can talk about that as well.
Yeah, it's great. I've known Rob Dukes, the singer of Generation Kill. He's formerly of Exodus. That's when we met, and we've been friends a long time. And he's got this thing going with DMC, this really nasty rap metal thing. And he hit me up, asked if I wanted to do production and throw down a little bit of guitar in there too. And we got one song done called Lot Lizard. It's such a nasty song. Holy shit. Came out great though. So we just got to do a whole bunch more, and hopefully everybody's going to be able to hear this stuff sooner the better.
Try not to gain any weight during it.
Seriously.
And then I mentioned earlier about the, how you're involved with charity, and I want you to talk about the Bumble Babe line of merchandise and how that can help out breast cancer, and talk a little bit about that.
Well, we have the one hot sauce Bumble Babe,
right?
Where any proceeds
correct
go toward breast cancer.
But I think you're going to do some more Bumble Babe like merchandise type of things, aren't you?
That's the next thing I want to do. Is we have one shirt design. I want to start putting out a lot of Bumble Babe stuff, things that are more lady friendly, because not a lot of women want to walk around with something resembling a foot. Sorry, feet ain't sexy, and neither am I. It's all right. I can live with that. So something that's a little friendlier toward half the population of Earth. So yeah, so Bumble Babe stuff. My wife is helping me design all this, come up with ideas and things.
Cool.
I'm going to try, amongst a million other things, to get all of that out this year as well.
Now, yeah, I know, and you're busy, obviously. We're talking about that. Actually, this question, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, and this is regarding your hot sauce. So, You know, I've interviewed a lot of artists, including Michael Anthony, Joe Perry, and I want to put you on the spot by saying, what makes Bumblefoot's hot sauce stand out from the rest?
Taste it and you'll know. I could go through all 6 of them and tell you how each one will stand out. Whether it's Bumblicious with cherry bourbon and chipotle, a zesty, award-winning first-place winner of Zest Fest in Dallas 2013 when we just rolled it out, sauce. That goes great on barbecue, it goes great on chips, it goes great on anything. You can just put it in the palm of your hand and lick it up. I'm happy, motherfucker. What else? Okay, Bumble fucked. Let's talk about Bumble fucked.
Right.
The hottest of all the sauces. It's got ginger, it's got tropical fruit, that's nice, but I have something no other hot sauce has. I put in ginseng and caffeine like an energy shot. This stuff and 6 million Scovilles of concentrated habaneros. This will fuck you up. It lives up to its name. You taste it. If you ingest this stuff, you will absolutely be bumble fucked. I promise. I promise you.
You'll give your toilet a new workout, is what you're saying.
Every fiber of your being is going to be inflamed. And you will like it and you will want more.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at, right now I'm online looking at your sauces from normal, abnormal, uncool, the Bumble Babe, which we just talked about a little bit, Bumblicious, Bumblefucks, and yeah, obviously, and now, how are you involved in the creation process? Now, are these your own recipes?
I had the original flavor profiles that we came up with, and I was in the kitchen with them working on stuff and experimenting, and I designed the labels, and yeah, every bit. This is not just slapping my name on something.
Okay, and obviously, and I'll tell people they can go to your website, you know, as well to, you know, besides the cases and everything else we're talking about, they can go there, check this stuff out. And I remember you did bring it with you when you toured in Buffalo last year, or outside of Buffalo and Akron last year. You had some with you, so you do take those on the road, right? Now, this is another question I got asked, because I would be amiss not to ask this question regarding your departure from Guns N' Roses. Did you want to make any comments on that?
Perfect time to talk about that. It is 2:01, and I have to grab my next
Okay.
call. How's that for perfect timing? I'm not saying anything about anything because it only leads. You know, people aren't going to. The news sites aren't going to report about raising $163,000 for kids.
Yeah, we know you're a charity.
Anything I say about this.
Right.
And I'm not going to hijack everything else that we just talked about by getting into it.
Okay, not a problem, and I appreciate that. At least you made a comment saying you don't want to talk about it. So basically, we want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. For anything, including the new CD, Little Brother is Watching, please go to www.bumblefoot.com. And well, good enough. I'll let you get to your other interview. Ron, thanks for always. I appreciate you always taking the time to talk to us, and hope to see you out and about in 2015.
Thanks so much, man. I'll be seeing you soon.
Take care, buddy.
Take it easy.
Bye, man. See ya.